You better not shout, you better not cry. Konami doesn't care if you've been naughty or nice. Yu-Gi-Oh! Banlist season is here. What's going on, guys? It's Cimo. Not even 10 seconds ago did the brand new November 2022 ban list drop for us to see. I was sitting here with my lovely wife enjoying some breakfast, and she says, "Oh shit, Alex, the ban list dropped." And so here we are, spoiling that morning. But it's fun because I was actually competing in YCS Pasadena only a couple weeks ago, so I actually have a grasp on what's happening in the game now, where when I made my ban list reaction when I was on my honeymoon, I hadn't played Modern Yu-Gi-Oh! In years. You know, I'm the Progression Series history guy. Modern Yu-Gi-Oh! Was something I hadn't touched, you know, probably since pre-COVID, but here we are, brand new list. I know we're all excited because a lot of us were expecting a bit of an emergency list just because of the Ishizu cards and how powerful they are, and I think looking at the results of both YCS Pasadena as well as YCS Dortmund, and I believe YCS Costa Rica is this weekend, so I imagine that's not going to be in effect for them, although that'd be very funny if people had only a week to prepare, and let's be honest, it wouldn't be the first time. I'm excited. I think a lot of people are probably expecting Tier or the Ishizu cards specifically to get hit in some capacity, and so let's see if that does in fact come to fruition. So we see down here the page updated on 11/21/2022, which is today, and let's go ahead and view the list, see what we got. Let's see if there's anything immediately. Effective from December 1st, 2022. Okay, so this makes sense. Again, YCS Costa Rica is this weekend, so for anyone competing in that, don't worry. So December 1st is when the new list goes in effect. Makes sense. Again, pretty fast for a ban list, and I wonder why there would be a ban list. Interesting. So we're gonna go very slowly here. I'd be shocked if anything got banned, to be honest, because I'm thinking about like what they did in the OCG, and the OCG, I believe, just hit the Ishizu cards, a lot of them down to 1, and you have to think, because Konami's a business, they need to make money. At the same time, they don't want to just completely shaft the fact that they just released this new product in Mavens, so they could hit some of the tier cards and not hit the Ishizu cards to weaken the power of tier. But we've seen this with tier 0 formats before, where they'll hit the like peripheral cards to ensure that the set that just came out will keep selling. But we'll see. I mean, anything's possible at this point. I would be shocked if they hit the Ishizu cards this early out of the gate. I think the tier cards are most likely going to get hit. Thank God Maxi's here, so we don't have to worry about that coming off anytime soon. That's crisis number 1 averted. Curious, the Lightsworn Dominion going to banned. Honestly, okay, so let's think about this. Curious hasn't been like at the forefront of the current competitive metagame in really quite some time. But to be fair, Curious does facilitate a lot of bullshit in this game, right? The fact that you can bring back some things with like Nightmare Griffin, different things like that, all the Curious combo decks. This was a card that I feel like a lot of people could justifiably see getting banned, and I'm not surprised to see this here. Was it a necessary hit at the moment? Unless there's like some combo that I'm not aware of, which, let's be honest, I wouldn't be surprised, then I don't really see like an immediate need to hit this card, but this is more like future-proofing, because Curious just does way too much for what this card is actually able to do, so I'm perfectly okay seeing this card getting banned, and honestly, I think a lot of people would be as well. The Link Monsters list just keeps growing on the ban. Look how many Link Monsters are banned now. This is insane, and to be fair, all these on here probably deserve it. All right. So moving on along, I'm not expecting to see anything else on the ban list, I'll be completely honest. The only other thing, like, I know people are clamoring for, like, Abyss Dweller to get banned, and after playing Ishizu tier, like, I get it, but at the same time, there are, like, ways to deal with it, even though it's just a very frustrating card to play against. It's not, like, an auto-win in most cases, so we're gonna keep moving on. Mystic Mine is banned! We did it, ladies and gentlemen! It's gone, finally! Oh my god. Jeff Leonard, rest in peace, my friend, but holy shit. After all of the bullshit that we have seen on all of the feature matches, they finally listen to the people and ban this atrocious card. It's kind of funny because this card wasn't even like that problematic at this exact moment in time, but fuck Mystic Mine. Fuck that card to all hell. Thank God this card, we never have to deal with this headache again. The OCG had it right, and that's the format that has 3 Max C. They banned that shit ages ago, and we should have followed suit immediately to just completely dodge all of the agony we've had to play through since then. Fuck this card. Thank the Lord. Okay, everyone's gonna be happy with this ban list regardless of anything else on here. Wow, okay. I honestly, after the last ban list, I was convinced they were just never touching Mystic Mine, because if they were going to ban it last list, when that was like, when it was at the forefront of the media and just all the bullshit surrounding it, I just figured it was never going to get touched. And here we are. Thank God. Oh my God. All right. Well, I'm awake now, ladies and gentlemen. That's a good way to start your morning. Let's keep going. Again, I wasn't expecting anything else. I'm pleasantly surprised. Curious, we'll take it. But Mystic Mine, fuck you. Get out of our fucking format. All right. Next up, limited. I expect several cards to get limited here. I would not be surprised if the Ptolemaeus field spell is limited. I would not be surprised if, what else? Just anything tier Ishizu related without even necessarily hitting the Ishizu cards. I could see them hitting them, but again, they want to sell products, so not in their best interest to do so. Let's just see what happens. Let's scroll on down very slowly here. Like I said, I think the field spell is definitely like target number one. Herald of Orange Light. So this is a bit weird. So the OCG did this as well, and I'm not really sure how I feel about this. Herald is this very weird card. It's an extraordinarily powerful card, but under the right circumstances. If you don't have Herald with one of the Ishizu cards, Herald sucks. It is one of the worst cards you can possibly draw. The only thing it's really good for, in all honesty, is you can like pitch it off a Sheeran just because you can send like any monster for its effect. So it has like ancillary utility there, but it's a very weird card because like when you pitch it with an Ishizu, it feels like unbeatable, but I've had several instances where both testing and playing at YCS Pasadena where multiple times Orange Light was dropped and like it wasn't good enough to even beat through a board. And so I saw the OCG did this, and after like extensively testing for Pasadena and everything, I don't even know how I feel about this. Like, I get it, but at the same time, it's just like a weird hit because the card is already inconsistent at times. So I feel like that's sort of the balancing mechanism that this card has. And I don't know. I feel like out of all the cards people are complaining about in this format, Herald was never a card. Like, it could have lost you games at times, but most of the times, especially in the mirror matches, aside from like Dweller exactly, Herald is not like a fantastic hit against a lot of things. It's like fine, but I don't know. So this was a weird hit to me. So, I mean, the fact that we're mirroring the OCG on this, whatever, like, you have less outs to Dweller now, I guess, which is kind of frustrating, but it is what it is. Herald's just a very strange hit in my eyes. I feel like there's better things you could hit, but clearly someone who's better than me at this game probably has a better, more informed opinion of it. I just don't really, I think there could be better hits. So we're almost through the monsters. That's it. So they didn't touch any of the Ishizu cards, which is what I expected. They could be on the semi-limited list, I guess, but we'll see. Keeping on moving along here, I expect to see something in the P section. Almost there. Nothing. Okay, they didn't touch any of the Terrellman stuff. Okay. They limited Orange Light. This is the most Konami hit I've ever seen in my life. Tier 0, okay, so I can just say this. After filming so much history of Yu-Gi-Oh!, we're up to what, like Necros right now? This is a pattern where when we're on the verge of like a Tier 0 format, then all of a sudden we get a ban list and they do virtually nothing to affect what's actually going on, which makes sense because they want to sell the cards because it's the best deck. Like, I get that. It may not be in the interest of the players, depending on whether you're like more casual, more competitive, because competitive players love this format and casual players don't, because a lot of casual players don't like Tier 0 formats. But this is textbook Konami. To not touch anything else. I mean, we haven't gotten to the semi-limits, but honestly, semi-limits are probably so irrelevant that I don't even think it matters. Let's just see before I keep continuing on here. So nothing else there. Lyrillus Recital Starling going to semi-limited. Sure. Okay, Bird Up. Have fun with that. And that's it. Great. I'm glad we added a card to the semi-limited list for literally no reason. This could have gone to 3 and probably not done anything. And let's go to the Oh. I see. Tellarknight Ptolemaeus going from banned to unlimited. Is this a problem? So Ptolemaeus, for those who don't know, back in the day was a card that the Pendulum decks would use to shit out cards like Cyber Dragon Infinity and do just a lot of like unfair things for what a deck that can make rank 4s can typically do, because you can access cards that are outside of the rank 4 pool. But that was 4 years ago, 5 years ago when this card was, I think this was Breakers of Shadow, if my memory serves correctly. Is this going to be a problem today? I don't even know what this card's at in the OCG, so I don't even know if I have it. I don't think it's off the list in the OCG, but I don't know about this one, Chief. That one's a bit scary, but again, contextually, I have to think about how long ago it was. This is a very frustrating card from back in the day. And so contextually, I mean, the game has evolved a lot. And so I'm not sure the implication. This just does not seem like a good idea to me. I just have a bad feeling about this. And, you know, apparently this is so, okay. I'm just going to say this. We moved Recital Starling from 1 to 2, and Ptolemaeus, fuck it. Put it from forbidden to unlimited. This card is not an issue whatsoever. Interesting. You know what? Let's quickly go ahead and reread what Ptolemaeus does. All right, so I quickly pulled up Ptolemaeus. So 2 or more level 4s, once per chain during either player's turn, detach 3 Xyz materials from this card. Special summon for the extra rank 1 Xyz monster that's 1 rank higher than this card, except a number by using this face-up as material, and then has the effect that doesn't matter because you're never going to use that. So yeah, so this is how they would just go immediately into Infinity, because Infinity is a rank 5. The rank 5 pool has probably broadened since this card was banned, and so it really depends on like if there's other good rank. I mean, Infinity's still a fantastic card, don't get me wrong. So it really just depends on if Infinity's still worth playing, or if there's other rank 5s that are like equally, if not better than Infinity, that you'd want to play this in. There are plenty of decks right now that play level 4 monsters, because guess what? The Ishizu cards are level 4. So summoning this with 3 materials is not very difficult. So we'll see how that goes. I have a very bad feeling about this, but it's interesting to say the least. I thought we were done. I guess the unlimits are something exciting to talk about. Yo, Dimensional Fisher going to 3. Okay, that's an interesting check against like tier element decks. I think Dimensional Fisher, I know Macrocosmos is at 3 in the OCG 100%. I'm not sure about DeFi. Macro's better than DeFi, so I'd be shocked if this also wasn't at 3. Macro's better just because it banishes all cards, and it's a trap, so you can use it like reactively on your opponent's turn. But okay, this is a card that could have gone to 3 ages ago, and that's another check against graveyard-based decks. So anyone wanting to play anti-meta, like, this is a fantastic card for you. I think that's perfectly fine. Tanky going to 3, I think the way the meta's looking, that actually doesn't matter at all. So cool. All of the Tri-Brigade decks, any Zoo variants, any deck that just plays Beast Warriors, you have more consistency back. Semi-limiting this, I don't think really did anything, but here we are. And I think it makes sense that if Fisher goes to 3, that Macro also goes to 3. Very interesting for people who may want to play like an anti-meta like Zodiac deck, because back in the OCG, that's actually what they were doing at one point, where they just played like triple macro, triple DeFi. You can play a triple shifter in that deck as well, and just play like Zeus control essentially. So that sort of breathes light into that deck, especially now that Tenki's back at 3 as well. And Metaverse is at 3 again, because it used to be limited. And I think Metaverse going to 3 is fine, simply because with Mystic Mine gone, the biggest fear was that you could just Metaverse your opponent on their turn and Mystic Mine them, and then that was like the end of the game. And so with Mystic Mine out of the game, Metaverse being at 3, like, sure, if you want to just immediately grab a field spell, I think that's perfectly fine, because none of the other field spells are as game-breaking as Mystic Mine. So, actually a pretty interesting list. I was expecting at least like 1 or 2 hits to Treleman, and I guess Herald of Orange Light is technically one of those like ancillary hits that I was discussing, but I feel like in the grand scheme of things doesn't even matter all that much, because guess what? They just stop playing Orange Light and just play more Bystials or play more Engine or play more of literally anything else. The deck is exactly the same. This is what makes me the most curious. I am curious. I'm fascinated to see what Ptolemaeus is going to do, if it does anything at all, because it's very rare that they move a card from banned to unlimited and think that it's going to have no repercussions whatsoever. I think if anything, even if this was limited, it would probably be the same as playing 3 anyway, because back in the day, I'm pretty sure the decks that did play this card only played one of it anyway. So like, I don't think people would actively play more than one Ptolemaeus. So I guess in that sense, it doesn't make sense for it to go to limited. They could probably just unlimited anyway. But like seeing this and then seeing this is just really funny to me. But yeah, as I expected, very few, if not any, hits to the actual Ishizu cards. And yeah, Ptolemaeus still going to be the best deck for probably the next 3 months, if not longer. I would be shocked if they do anything to the deck, because with the Kashitra, whatever like Fenrir's archetype is, there's more support coming for that in the next set, which hasn't yet been released. And I think that set comes out right before or like the week of YCS Las Vegas in February. And that stuff synergizes with the Ptolemaeus stuff. So yeah, they don't really want to touch, you know, their golden goose right now, and for good reason. So, guys, that's going to do it for my ban list reaction. I hope you guys are as excited of Mystic Mine being banned as I am. Let me know down in the comments what you guys think. Thank you all so much for watching, and we will see you next time. Enjoy the Tier 0 format.